A very good afternoon. Chain, can you confirm that you can hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. No problem.
Thank you. So let me bring up my short presentation here. So are you able to see my screen? Danish, can you confirm that you're able to see my screen? I can't hear you.
Yeah, we are able to see.
Arun, we can see the screen all right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So, so hopefully through Shayan's short tour of what are complex systems and the different dimensions associated with it, you got a good overview of the challenges and the kind of problems that one would take up as a researcher and as a learner in this field, right? So obviously, when we look at systems, we look at dynamics, so they're inseparable. And therefore, we have the complex systems and dynamics group, which is a very vibrant group consisting of researchers from different departments. I'll walk you through that. So the agenda for this very short presentation is to give you a quick overview of the complex systems and dynamics group that has been recently launched at IIT Madras, but its existence, of course, goes back to a few years before. So this schematic essentially gives you the different fields that more or less Shayan touched upon in this presentation. And although we call ourselves as a complex systems and dynamics group formally for now, we would like to think of this as informally as a center where a lot of activities related to complex systems and dynamics are conducted. So what are the broad research directions that our group is engaged in? And that will then tell you also whether it aligns with your interests, and if you are, of course, excited about one or more than one research directions, then feel free to write to us. There are several avenues for collaboration. There are, of course, in principle, many research directions, but our group focuses on a few broad research directions that touch biological systems, atmospheric systems, industrial processes, man-made, natural processes, and so on. In one of the directions is in the field of neuroscience, and I'm not going to read out the list here. Doesn't really make sense also to read out the list, because also this is not exhaustive, and in the interest of time also it's not such a good idea. But as you can see from the list, within this broad field of neuroscience, which is a huge field in itself, we are interested in modeling, and we are interested in not only computational models, but also modeling the infection spread and explaining the effects of trauma and so on, right? And the other research direction takes us to the atmospheric world, the weather and the climatic world, where once again we are interested in modeling, predictions, and looking for precursors, let us say, to extreme events. And as Shayan did mention, uncertainties are integral. Randomness is integral to almost every complex system that you see. And therefore, stochastic modeling is one of the ways to go. And what is a field without data-driven analysis? So you will find machine learning, although in neuroscience it's not mentioned. A lot of analysis that is done is not just based on first principles understanding or fundamental understanding, but also from data. So in climate science, we again look for developing models and so on, and applying a lot of AI and ML based algorithms to solve some of the burning problems. The other research direction is in the field of biomimetics and multiphysics, and this again is a totally different world in itself. But remember, the thread that connects all of this is the complex systems. So in this direction, we look at, we examine, we analyze multiphysics coupled systems where we go from, we look at nature and we get inspired, and then we ask, how do we make robotic insights, or how do we, what are the complexities involved in the development of micro aero vehicles. And if you remember, Shayan did mention that all data without fundamental knowledge gives you a black box model. It's not that bad, but then it's perhaps only useful for prediction, but not going to offer any insight. So we get into physics enhanced deep learning. And again, this applies to almost every dimension, every research direction that we talk about. So the other research direction, a big research direction, looks at complex flows in biological systems. So we talked about biomimetics, but now we have come to biological systems itself, where, for example, we analyze complex flows in nasal passages, and in the current COVID situation, this is a very relevant problem to study. And then there is active research on active fluids. And we also study propulsions across different length scales. This is again only a set of, it's a representative list of research problems that we study under this banner. And an area that has taken off or continues to emerge is that of causal discovery. Although I must mention that this idea of figuring out what is the cause, what is the effect, has been around for about 40, 50 years, almost taking birth in econometrics. But to engineering systems, it has come only recently. So if you recall, in the previous talk that Shine gave, he talked about modeling the functional relationships between input and output. But quite often, you do not know what is the input or what is the output, or what is the cause, what is the driver, and which one is the response. And that's exactly the causal discovery problem. Given data, can you figure out which variable is acting as a driver and which variable is a response? And it can play dual roles. And from this inferencing, we would like to reconstruct network models. And this has wide applications in climate sciences, industrial processes, and so on. So a lot of research goes on in this field, and it uses ideas from econometrics, time series modeling, machine learning, AI, and of course, wherever possible, physics. Then, of course, in the modern era, we are interested in social dynamics. And today, the society is a lot more, at least globally connected, locally, maybe disconnected, we do not know, but globally, certainly there is a lot of connection. And we know that the dynamics are very complex out there. So we would like to find out, for example, what are the models that can explain social interactions. And given the current circumstances, obviously, a hot problem of interest is in the growth of epidemics and rumors that go around and so on. And that essentially is are some of the problems that we study under this one. Okay, so of course, it's not the end of the road there, or that's an exhaustive list, but we just wanted to group a lot of our research into different research directions, and I gave you a gist of it. And this research essentially happens due to the, I would say, the active research conducted by the interdisciplinary group here at IIT Madras, and our collaborations with leading international researchers across the globe. So this is just a list I'm not going to read out, but what I would like to do is draw your attention to the different participating departments as a testimony to the interdisciplinary nature of this complex systems group. So you can see that we have faculty from A to Z, starting from aerospace, applied mechanics, biotechnology, to chemical engineering, physics, and math, and so on. So we are about nine core members at the complex systems group and dynamics group here at IIT Madras, collaborating with a number of collaborators, I would say researchers across the globe. And as soon as I bring up the list, you will see that our network is quite large, and we are very happy, and we are really thankful to the collaborations that are happening out there. So again, just to give you a quick overview of the collaborators, where they are located, what are their specializations. Clearly, I think we will share this information with you. This information is also available on the website, so you can read at leisure. But again, what I would like you to see is the diversity and the heterogeneity of the specializations, as well as the affiliations across the globe of our fantastic collaborators. So we have a number of collaborators whom we conduct research, active research with. And you can see we have collaborators from USA, Europe, and other countries and other continents, with the exception of Professor Udit Bhatia, who is at IIT Gandhinagar. We have put him under international collaborators. Well, he is in India, but he himself collaborates with a lot of international people. So he's a semi-international collaborator, you can say so. All right, so let me move on here and just quickly give you a one-slide summary of some of the ongoing research projects. We talk about the research directions. Zooming in a bit, this is a very short list of a long list of research projects that we carry out. And again, just to give you an idea here, we are looking at climatic processes. We are looking at biological systems or nature. For example, the bird song, this project, there is a model that's being developed, and what are the frequencies, what are the kind of dynamics involved, and so on, is the subject of analysis there. Or Cheyenne did talk about state space models that were coined by Poincaré and so on, and where phase synchronization is in nonlinear state space systems. Phase synchronization is one of the highlighted characteristics, you can say so. And what kind of phase synchronizations occur, and that of course depends on the system and depends on the model. So we not only study this from a first principles viewpoint, but also from a data-driven viewpoint. So given data, can you detect if there are phase synchronizations and so on? Okay, so I'll again not walk you through the list, but rather talk about the modes in which you can engage with us. So we actively recruit PhD students, postdoctoral fellows, and very importantly, we are also looking out for young international faculty. This is a very recent kind of I would say, position that has been opened up thanks to the ministry's encouragement and the institute's emphasis. So we are looking for active researchers who want to join our institute as young international faculty, and of course as postdoctoral fellows, apart from our PhDs and master students. And if you are interested to join, please do write to us. We'll be more than happy. And please note that we are also recruiting full-time foreign faculty on tenure track positions. And that means even if you are not an Indian citizen or you don't hold an OCI card, overseas citizen of India card, you're still you are eligible. And of course, if you're just a recently graduated doctoral student, you hold a recent PhD, please write to us. We'll be very happy to hire you as a postdoctoral fellow. And then if you're an aspiring researcher, write to us. We'll be happy to have you as our PhD and master students. And if you are a visiting, if you're a faculty, we'll be very happy to host you on a short-term and a long-term basis. So you can see that there are several tracks in which on which you can walk to engage with us, and we'll be very happy to collaborate. And of course, not to mention, we do have attractive remuneration packages, and our campus is a very lovely campus. You will also love your stay here. We have very recently launched an interdisciplinary dual degree program, which has been active since the beginning of this year. And the objective, of course, is to train students in several aspects of the complex systems and dynamics, which ranges from mathematical modeling to computing and hands-on experience as well. So, of course, this is open only to IIT students as of now. And let me move on very quickly and close the discussion with the presentation with a quick talk about what are the employment opportunities. Of course, this is an emerging field. So there are, of course, industries that will find a researcher from this group employable, and we've just listed a few. But what we believe is that whether it is industry or academia, you will have a very strong employability skill once you graduate from this group, or once you spend time with our group, because you're going to deal with complex systems, which places you at a fantastic interface with many disciplines, and the skills that you develop are not necessarily for a particular domain, but for handling different domains, and that is what really makes you highly employable. So if you want to reach us, do visit our website or write to us. We also have a YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So the details are here. Go to the website and you will find all the details. So let me quickly close the presentation with a one-slide overview of the workshop. So the workshop is spread over 4 days, starting today to Saturday. And as you can see, we have speakers drawn not only from different institutes, but if you look at the titles of the talks carefully, you can see once again, it just reflects the diversity that we have been talking about. And there are some very exciting research talks along with the tutorial talks. So the way we have planned is you get, if you're a beginner, there are tutorial talks to help you understand the research talks. But if you are already into the field, then you can, of course, listen to the tutorial talks and perhaps get a different perspective of what you already know. But you can enjoy the research talks much more, right? So there is everything that there is in this workshop for everyone, whether you're a beginner or you're an expert or a medium level researcher right now. And we are very happy to see registrants from across the globe. So the pie chart here also gives you the split in terms of the representation from different levels of researchers, right, including industry professionals. And we're very glad to see that a significant 35% of the participants are pursuing PhDs. And the next leading group is from faculty. And again, I'm not showing you the demographic information here, but I can tell you from the list that we have of the total 700 plus participants, we have a lot of people from abroad and not just from within India. So we like it interactive. So please do feel free to ask questions after every talk. So there is some time allotted for a question and answer session. Please make use of it. And that will not be the end of it. You can always follow up with the particular speaker. And who knows, you may end up actually working or collaborating with one or more of the speakers. So hope you have a really an enjoyable stay here. 4 days virtual stay during this workshop. And yeah, too bad we are not able to do this in person, but hopefully things will open up and do visit us on campus. So enjoy your 4-day workshop. Thank you. So over to you, Shine.
Yeah, thanks, Arun. Well, we are already running a bit late, so I will ask Professor Nilima to take over. And we have Professor Satya Mukherjee from who will be giving the next talk. So Professor Nilima is the chair for this talk, and she will be introducing the speaker.
Hello. So It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the first talk. So first of all, let me welcome the speaker, Dr. Satyam Mukherjee, who's at the Shivanadar University in Delhi. It's also my great pleasure to introduce Satyam to the audience. And Satyam, actually welcome back. Your PhD is from here, so it is really nice to have you back. So Satyam, in fact, did his PhD in networks theory